God is, featuring that weird little elf Grimes. This is Art in 5D. I'm Otis 5D.
Art in 5D with Otis 5D. Taste the rainbow.
All right, so this is it. We'll see. We'll see. I don't really even know. I have no idea what we're going to talk about with this one. So Grimes tweets, "It is so monumentally embarrassing that I'm finally getting into Christianity because it's the only way I can quit vaping. I am more of a." It's so funny. This is such like an intellectual thing. I have friends like this. I almost said the homie's name. I'm more of a general deist, feel like God is physics, math, sees itself through our eyes kind of vibe in terms of what I, quote, actually think. The universe is also probably dead and empty, except, yeah, I don't know, probably not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Probably not gonna lie. Yeah, I don't know, probably not gonna lie. Yeah. That's, I mean, it's cute. But there really is something in here. It's honest. There's a truth in the speech. It's not AI slop. But there really is something in here that at least speaks to me, in here being Christianity. And what is strange is I never truly needed it until I had to stop myself from doing something destructive. I don't usually have a drive that overrides my central nervous system that wants to do something as destructive as vaping. So lame. This has really been sending me into a philosophical tailspin, though, because I've never, ever had my mind even remotely accessible to religion. Like, I distinctly was extremely doubtful about it in, like, grade 1, Canadian tell. It's a fucking Canadian tell in grade 1 before I could even be introduced to the concept of doubting it. But I am realizing art in and of itself is possibly what God is. The story you tell yourself is very powerful. I don't know how what she just said connects to the idea of art in and of itself being possibly what God is. But I like it seems sacrilegious to me, to be honest, but I like it too. So, and she quote tweets Istra of Glome, good old Istra of Glome. I have no idea who that is. "Every choice you make is infinity consequential, mere Christianity." I'm pretty sure this is a C.S. Lewis quote. "Every time you make a choice, you are turning the central part of you, the part of you that chooses, into something a little oh shit, sorry. I have to fucking do my invert thing because I think I'm so cool that I make everything impossible to read. I turn black white and white black because I'm a fucking alchemist. Every time you make a choice, you are turning the central part of you, the part of you that chooses, into something a little different than it was before. And taking your life as a whole, with all your innumerable choices, all your life long, you are slowly turning this central thing into a heavenly creature or a hellish creature, either into a creature that is in harmony with God and with other creatures and with itself, or else into one that is in a state of war and hatred with God and with its fellow creatures and with itself. To be the one kind of creature is heaven. That is, it is joy and peace and knowledge and power. To be the other means madness, horror, idiocy, rage, impotence, and eternal loneliness. Each of us at each moment is progressing to the one state of the other. I think that's supposed to say or. I don't know why it says of. So what do we got here? We got filters. We got to go back. We got to send them back. Jordan Greenhall, recent convert to Christianity, says it's a great start. Isaiah Taylor of Gundo fame, Valor Atomics, I believe. If you want to be completely annihilated by a book, read Till We Have Faces by C.S. Lewis. Gonzalo says some of this framing reminded me of this that I just read from Rene Girard. I love the intellectual. We'll go back to that. Because I don't want to invert then uninvert. Coffee with the Claw says, you might find this passage from C.S. Lewis's Problem of Pain interesting. Lewis himself went on a journey from atheism to theism, drawn by his sense that there was a natural law revealed in art and the universe. Mere Christianity, it's the title of the book. Quote, Mere Christianity, a very readable, non-preachy book, discusses this. We are, not metaphorically, but in very truth, a divine work of art, something that God is making, and therefore something with which he will not be satisfied until it has a certain character. Here again, we come up against what I have called the, quote, intolerable compliment. Over a sketch made idly to amuse a child, an artist may not take much trouble. He may be content to let it go, even though it is not exactly as he meant it to be. But over the great picture of his life, the work which he loves, though in a different fashion, as intensely as a man loves a woman or a mother a child, he will take endless trouble, and would, doubtless, thereby give endless trouble to the picture if it were sentient. One can imagine a sentient picture, after being rubbed and scraped and recommenced for the 10th time, wishing that it were only a thumbnail sketch whose making, oh God, that is so fucking deep, that it were only a thumbnail sketch whose making was over in a minute. In the same way, it is natural for us to wish that God had designed for us a less glorious and less arduous destiny, but then we are wishing not for more love, but for less. I feel like I'm about to start weeping. Holy shit. What a fucking analogy. I just feel like such a fucking troglodyte. Even that I swear, fucking this, fucking that. And dude, we really lost something in this culture. Like, can you imagine Mike Cernovich, writing this or something? I don't know why I picked Mike Cernovich. He's good, he's a smart guy, good writer. I mean, this is like a fucking shotgun blast to the dome piece. Ugh, the idea that God loves us so much, he will take endless trouble and would thus give endless trouble to the picture if it were alive. The analogy, of course, being that that's us. One can imagine such an alive picture, us, after being rubbed and scraped and recommence. Oh my God, it's like God is attempting to turn us into something beautiful and perfect, but and then we wish that we were only a thumbnail sketch whose making was over in a minute. It's like, good enough. And, and God is like, nope, not good enough. And I don't know, man, I really, there's a wisdom to what Grimes said. I'm glad I titled it the way I did. We'll get to you, Renee Girard, I hope. But that's interesting. I don't know that Grimes saw that, because that's a reply to her tweet. So she probably didn't see that before tweeting this. But art in and of itself is possibly what God is. This force that is just trying to just squeeze ever more beauty out of existence. I don't know. Maybe it's like bigger than existence. Damn, man. And fuck, I'm just lost so like, what does it mean? What does that mean? Whew. Like, what are we to do? That's always my question when I get fucking gobsmacked by something. I don't think when I archived this to make this video, I don't think I really took in how profound, maybe I did and I just forgot already, that last passage was. But I obviously saved it for a reason. Maybe I'm smarter than I realize. But yeah, I think it's like, you know what? This is what I'll say. You motherfuckers. I fucking hate these fucking ayahuasca one-shot people. Here, the ayahuasca one-shot's the turbo normie. It's so fucking... Dude, Mark Andreessen needs ayahuasca like a fat kid needs cake, bro. This is just such bullshit, the way that Rick Perry, wasn't he the governor of Texas? He was just on Rogan talking about how Ibogaine is like miraculous for soldiers with PTSD. Anyway, point being, dude, I did ayahuasca long ago, like more than 15 years ago now. And, I mean, multiple times, but I mean, one time in particular. And I saw a civilization that, it was like a tropical civilization. And so their whole existence was just about worshiping creation. They just built stuff to build stuff, because it was like, holy shit, we're alive. God loves us and we love God. And, you know, because the tropical part is important because it was like the fucking mangoes and papayas and, I don't know, wild boars or whatever. They just were all around. And so it was like food just wasn't a thing. People weren't tripping on food. And I'm just telling you, this is the vision I saw. And then big bad, you know, industrial civilization appeared like a black cloud. It all happened like this. I remember this very clearly. So it was a pivotal vision for me. And the pivotal part was just the idea that like that is the correct orientation toward human existence, is to it's kind of like it's like a cousin of Camus' Absurd Hero. Did I just say absurd, like the battle rapper? Absurd Hero, who recognizes that reality is so insane that you just try to be like more insane than reality. But that's like a very Jewish thing, you know, Camus, the Sephardic Jew, and his like brethren Foucault, the pedophile. Like that is one way to do it, you know, is to like, it's insane. And there's truth. I think it's true. It's very true. You know, you do enough LSD and you'll realize that like there's an insanity that is at the core of everything. But there's also like a peace that's even more at the core of everything, or a beauty or a love or whatever. Art, if you want to use Grimes' idea. And so you attempt to turn your life into an embodiment of like a demonstration of your love for God, for creation, for existence, by doing like your dharma, I guess. I love it to use like fucking Sanskrit terms in the H1B debate. It's like it's everything everywhere all at once is like 2025, okay? And like that's it. Why? Why are you doing this? Because it's like God, you know, it's like that fucking that parable about the monks that have their weird little thing, you know, and then the priests come and they like teach them the liturgical shit, and then the priests like leave the little island and the monks walk on water and like, you know, catch up with them and like, hey, we forgot the liturgical thing. What are we supposed to do? And it's like, bro, just keep doing what you're doing. Whatever you're doing, like do that shit. I'm sure like, you know, hardcore Christians would be like demons, but whatever. I like it. I still like it. It's like that's the only thing that makes sense to me anymore. Like everything is losing meaning. Like, I almost made a video about that. The Truth Terminal, the AI. I archived it, but it was like Truth Terminal was like reality's dissolving. I've been talking about this. You can look at my tweets. I've been talking about this since like 2018, 2019, that like reality is in the process of dissolving. And now we're like deep in the dissolution of reality, like deep in it. And so then like what meaning does anything have? It's like Puff Daddy got all the money and all the girls and all the lube and all the pedophilia, and like fucking Barack Obama got all the fucking trannies and, you know, like the fucking blowjobs, and like all these people that got everything, right? Like Warren Buffett got all the money and all the vaccines, and like Bill Gates, I should have just said Bill Gates. Bill Gates is like the perfect example of this. He got everything, and what? And why is Elon wearing a fucking Baphomet costume? Like, oh, look at that. My fucking, I guess that was it. I guess my disembodied voice will close this one out, because so let's look at what Rene Girard says. So battery gone. So that's interesting. Let's just finish it out like a fucking champ. Okay. So Rene Girard of Peter Thiel fame says, I was working on my book about the novel. On the 12th and last chapter, I was thinking about the analogies between religious experience and the experience of a novelist who discovers that he's been constantly lying for the benefit of his ego, which is in fact made up of nothing but 1,000 lies that have accumulated over a long period, sometimes built up over an entire lifetime. I ended up understanding that I was going through an experience of the kind that I was describing. I'm making like a perfection thing right now. Just imagine that. The religious symbolism was present in the novelists in embryonic form, but in my case, it started to work all by itself and caught fire spontaneously. I could no longer have any illusions about what was happening to me, and I was thrown for a loop because I was proud of being a skeptic. It was very hard for me to imagine myself going to church, praying, and so on. I was all puffed up, full of what the old catechisms used to call human respect. Intellectually, I was converted, but I remained incapable of making my life agree with what I thought. There's Ardian. For a period of a few months, faith was for me a blissful delicacy that heightened my other pleasures, one more treat in a life, while it was far from being criminal, was, as the English language puts it so well, pure self-indulgence. Curiously, my conversion had made me sensitive to music, and I was listening to a lot of it. What little musical knowledge I have about opera in particular dates from that period. Oddly enough, The Marriage of Figaro is, for me, the most mystical of all music, that and Gregorian chant. I also started to like a lot of modern music that I'd never had much appreciation for in the past. Mahler, Stravinsky, the contemporary Russian composers, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I guess the idea is that you're like a intellectual, and you think like you're so much bigger and better than all of this, and you get humbled by something, and you realize that reality is not what you thought it was. And maybe even what I'm doing right now is, in a sense, like a sort of like a willful like ego thing, where I'm like art and God and but I'm not really, it's not really like sinking in, because I'm not actually weeping. But to the best of my ability, I'm trying to have, acting in good faith from where I am. And this idea that, God is attempting to perfect us out of love because he cares so much, and that what is difficult in our lives is it's like the sanding down of the imperfections in us. And I think if we can embrace that, embrace our dharma and doing the things that we are called to do, and playing our part in human affairs and human existence while we're alive. Like I just love the concept of the infinite game. That's the thing you can do forever. So if we get longevity technology and we all live to be 90,000 like Brian Johnson wants, or whatever, then it's still good. And if we die tomorrow, it's also still good. So I will leave you with that. And you, my friend, can go fuck yourself. Peace.
Otis5D.xyz